What's going on, guys? It's Azekahh. Got another ranked video, top 10, top 5 video. We're not talking about One Piece this time. Sorry I hadn't come out with a new video in a little while. I've been a little sick, trying to recover from that, and I'm feeling good enough today that I can finally put this video idea that I've been sitting on for a while out to the public. And the video for today is going to be top 5 2D platformers. These are games that I think really exemplify what a platformer should be and are just overall the most fun of all the 2D platformers I've ever played. And the rule is that there can't be more than one game from a single franchise. So there's only one Mario game on here. I'm not going to put I'm not going to put multiple Mario games on here or anything like that. Not that I even think that all those Mario games are good, but the rule will apply to one of the titles on this list. So that's why it's a rule. And it has to be strictly a platformer. A game like Metal Slug, where it's got platforms, but it's mostly a run and gun type game. That's not going to make it onto this list. It has to be purely platforming focused or have platforming as a main draw of the game. So, without further rules in the rule book, let's get to number 5. Because number 5 is Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddys Conquest. As a kid, I always thought this game was called Diddys Conquest, but I digress. It's called Diddys Conquest. It's kind of a funny name. In this game, you don't play as Donkey Kong, even though it's called Donkey Kong Country. You play as Diddy Kong, hence Diddy's Conquest. He's on the quest for the Kong, because Donkey Kong has been kidnapped. He's on the quest for the Kong. He's going to get Donkey Kong. They kind of flipped the switch a little bit, right? And you play as Diddy Kong, and the new Kong at the time is Dixie Kong. This is a really good platformer, I think mostly because each level has a different gimmick, right? So like in one level, you'll have the alligator's mouth. So you have to jump on them and they spring you up like, oh, boing, and you gotta jump across the alligators. And then in the next level, there's hot air balloons, and they sink when you sit on them, but you gotta use them to traverse over lava or swamp muck. And each level is separated in that way so that each one has its own unique feel and style. And it's got those roller coaster segments that everyone likes from Donkey Kong with the mine carts or whatever, what have you. But the main reason, it's a good platformer. It is very solid. But in terms of gameplay, it doesn't come close to anything else that's on this list. The main reason that I have this game here is because it has my personal favorite video game soundtrack of all time. No other video game has ever been able to top this when it comes to sound. David Wise is an amazing composer and uses sound effects from the environment that you might find in that environment. Like in the volcano music, there's bubbling lava sounds, and in the mine level, there's the sounds of pickaxes hitting stone, And it's just really, 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 really good. There's not a single bad track on the soundtrack. It's all good. It conveys every sense of any emotion that you'd ever want to feel. Like you're invading an enemy ship, or you're in a snow-filled wonderland, or you're invading some foreign territory. It's just every single track is really good and conveys every emotion that he could want to convey well. But since most of my praise comes for this game's soundtrack, the gameplay is good, don't get me wrong. The platforming is very solid. It's mostly horizontal levels. Sometimes you get a vertical one. There's not really a whole lot of variation between the two. You're never like traversing through an area that's like a big square. There's not a lot of like right and left. It's always either you're going straight right or you're going straight up. That's good. I like that. It gets a little bit less confusing, and a little bit of the honeycomb beehive levels. There's a little bit of that, but for the most part, solid platforming. It's good. I wouldn't put it this high on the list if I just liked the music, obviously. But that's Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. Let's get on to number 4. Number 4 is going to be Little Big Planet 2. Now, you could say that Little Big Planet 2 is a little bit of a strange 2D platformer because Little Big Planet has this thing going on where you can switch the layers of where you're standing. Like, there's 3 different layers of the platform, of the stage that you're standing on, and you can switch to the background, the middle ground, or the foreground, and that kind of plays into how you traverse each level. Anybody who's played Little Big Planet 2 knows. I mean, if you've played it, you know how fun it is. If you don't like Little Big Planet 2, I'm sorry, but you are an idiot. Because the creative flow is everywhere in this game. I understand. The problem with Little Big Planet 2 is that people who make levels for this game, like 90% of them are trash. They don't know what they're doing. It's kind of like Super Mario Maker. It's just not good. But that 10% of people who do know what they're doing make some absolutely brilliant platforming and fun experiences. And even, I won't say that the Media Molecule, the main game, like the stock game that comes with it, the regular story mode, is that great. It's fine. It's not bad by any means, but it's not breaking any new levels or anything like that. It's not something that should be praised. The community is where this game really shines, with all kinds of different levels. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a platform if you don't want it to be, but since we're focusing on the platforming aspects, you know, you can switch it to be a shooter or a horror survival or whatever you want it to be, right? The thing that I think puts Little Big Planet 2 above Little Big Planet 3 is that Little Big Planet 2 added so many new tools for the creation of a level over Little Big Planet 1. Little Big Planet 1 was good, but it did lack a few things that we probably didn't even know that it was lacking until Little Big Planet 2 came out, and they added so much shit for you to use, like all kinds of stuff. I can't even list them because it's been a really long time since I've actually played the game, but it's good. And then Little Big Planet 3, it didn't really add anything besides the new playable characters, and people were already making those movement styles in their games in Little Big Planet 2. Little Big Planet 3 didn't add enough. It felt very non-progressive compared to 2, which added such a plethora of new things for players to use. And Little Big Planet 3 didn't come close to what Little Big Planet 2 offered in terms of upgrades. And that's why I think 2 is the best. But we're going to move on to number 3. Number 3 is Oddworld Abe's Exodus. And Exodus is spelled like Exodus because it's Oddworld. This game is probably the most personal, closest to me game on this list. I probably have the most biased opinion about this game compared to anything else, because this was actually the first video game I ever played when I was 3 years old. This game is incredible. I cannot sing this game's praises enough. This game is never talked about. I only see people talk about it maybe once every 6 months, unless I'm the one talking about it. It is so underappreciated. It is such an amazing game. I haven't even said what it's about yet, so I'm going to do that now. In this game, you play as Abe, and the idea is that you're working for this corporation that's going low on business because they're destroying the environment, and they're running out of meat to sell. They're killing the animals, and so they've decided to use your species. It's an alien planet, so it's not like you're a human. I mean, imagine you're like a human working for some, super brainiac human, right? They think they're better than you. And they're going to start selling you as their new meat product to give to everyone else in the world. It's obviously a message about, consumerism and industrialization and stuff like that. But the world that Oddworld inhabitants have created, and Lorne Lanning, God bless his soul, he is such a creative man. And he's made this world come to life just simply with this game. And he's a genius, okay? He's a genius. This is what most people would probably call a cinematic platformer. It's definitely a puzzle platformer. The platforming in this game is not super fast-paced or, hectic. It's not super hectic. It's slow, it's methodical, it's a puzzle platformer. You have to ensure that you can rescue your fellow Mudokons, right? You have to tell them to follow you and get them through traps and puzzles and things, and have them operate levers and switches for you so you can get through the gates and past the obstacles and get them to safety. The idea is that you have to save them all to stop them from being ground up, right? Or rather, in this game, they're electrocuting them so that they cry into their alcoholic beverage, creating Soulstorm Brew, which, I mean, just like, it's so creative. Like, I can't even explain how much this game means to me on a personal level, and I'm probably not doing it justice by just telling you this game is incredible. It's a platformer that I think, like, 3, 2, and 1 are games that I think everyone should play, no matter if you like platformers or not. They're essentials. They're essential 2D platforming games. You need to play these games. I don't know how many people watching this now have remembered, but I actually did do an Aze Approves of the Oddworld series back in like 2012, 2011 or something like that. I did not do that game justice. I'm still not doing it justice here. I can't use my own words to describe how good this game is. It's incredible. It is one of the best games I've ever played. And it's just good. You really need to play it. It will suck you into its atmosphere. There is a remake of it, of the first game, of Oddworld's Abe's Odyssey. And it's not as good as the original, in my opinion. If you want the more modernized approach to the game, because it is a little archaic in its systems if you play the PlayStation 1 version, that's fine. But personally, I think I have too much attachment to the nostalgia of the first original game that I cannot recommend the remake to anybody who really appreciates the art of the first one. But without me dwelling on this third game, and not really saying much about it, let's move on to number 2. Now, number 2 is the Mario game on this list. Now, a lot of people are, which one's better? Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World. It's a toss-up between those two. That's really the two that most people will bring up when talking about 2D Mario games. And for me, it's got to be Super Mario World. There's no way that Super Mario World is inferior to Super Mario Bros. 3. The only thing that I could really say, shout-outs to the Game Shelf for making me realize this, or rather, not really realize it, but think about it, is the only thing that Super Mario Bros. 3 has over Super Mario World is the power-ups. And yes, Super Mario Bros. 3 has so many power-ups, but Super Mario World has the cape. And if you go up to an average Joe on the street, I mean, everybody probably knows Mario at this point, right? And you show him a picture of Mario in the cape, and he'll probably say, yeah, I remember that game. Then you show him a picture of Mario in the Hammer Bros. Suit. I like the Hammer Bros. Suit, don't get me wrong. Good, Hammer Bros. Suit is very cool, but he's probably not going to remember it. But besides the power-ups on their own, the game was really a huge step for Nintendo. Like, imagine you're just a kid playing with your NES back in the day, and then the Super Nintendo comes out, and they release Super Mario World, and you get it, and you play it, and it's just like, it blows your mind, right? The 16-bit graphics are like you've never seen before. Like, back in the day, this shit was crazy, dude. It was like, you've never seen anything like this, and Mario is so colorful and full of vibrant life that the visuals alone are mind-blowing to children, like to us kids when we saw that. But even on a non-nostalgic value, like even how much does it hold up today? The platforming is it's perfect. There's nothing wrong with the way that Mario controls. It's responsive. He's not floaty. He's not too heavy. It's just I can't speak for the quality of this game. Like that's just how these titles are gonna be now, right? The addition of Yoshi, it's nice. Lots of people like Yoshi, understand that. I myself am not so much a fan of Yoshi, but Yoshi gives you opportunities to go over obstacles and things that you probably wouldn't be able to as regular Mario. And here's the thing about Super Mario World, though. The base game is good. I like it a lot. But my appreciation for this game would be nowhere near as high as it is today if the hundreds and hundreds of ROM hacks for this game didn't exist. The community behind the Super Mario World hacking community is just, it's a lot bigger than you think it would be. It's definitely died down now, as it's not so much of a craze anymore, but like Brutal Mario, Kaizo Mario, Mario's Catastrophe, Games like that elevate Super Mario World from what it was to so much more. These games, like Kaizo's notorious. Most people probably know about Kaizo. It's just like, it's designed to be really hard and frustrating. But that's not even, like, Brutal Mario is, yes, most people will just say that it's a showcase of, look at this cool boss that I put in the game. And in my opinion, there's nothing wrong with that. That's really cool. There's a lot of enemies that Mario would never face off against that you have to play against. And it's not just like you're jumping on each one's head and that's it. There's a lot of unique ways that they've designed these games to challenge the way that Super Mario World works and to challenge the player to figure out how to defeat an enemy within the boundaries of the Super Mario World engine. It's just so... The community for Super Mario World hacking is so good. These games provide endless replayability for Super Mario World. I'm still playing Super Mario World hacks even today, and I first played the original Super Mario World back in, like, 1999. This game is timeless. It will continue to live on for I don't know how long. Although the hacking community is kind of dying out, it's getting smaller and smaller with each year. There's still dedicated people out there who will continue to make this game live on. It's the best Mario platformer. It's better than Mario Bros. 3. It's better than Mario Bros. 1. It's better than Mario Bros. 2. It's just the best. And it's, well, I don't have a problem with New Super Mario Bros. Personally, but after the first New Super Mario Bros. On the DS, they kind of, like, released a bunch of them, and then they kind of got stale, so, like, maybe, you know, it's not really that high on the list here. Moving on to number 1. What could be better than Mario? Well, it's Nintendo. 2D platforming is probably Nintendo's strongest suit, but I already had a Donkey Kong game on here, so what could it be? I'm talking about Wario Land 4, the best 2D platformer of all time, Wario Land 4. Ladies and gentlemen, I present the masterpiece that is Wario Land 4. Wario Land 1, 2, and 3, very good, very solid. And if I could, I'd put 3 on here as one of the top 5, but I could only put 1 from a series. And 4, let me tell you about Wario Land 4. Oh man. Nintendo has this thing where their Mario games are their standard platforming experiences, and they're good at making those. Those are good games. But everything else that they make, like Donkey Kong and Wario, are better. Wario Land 4, the plot is that Wario, there's a newspaper he reads that a pyramid has appeared and there's lots of treasure there. So Wario, obviously being the greedy man that he is, goes to get the treasure. Now, this game, I wouldn't say that it's underappreciated. The praise that it gets is very well deserved. It's just not very high in the public eye. Most people don't actually know about it. And I feel like if they did know about it, they would love this game too. Wario is not floaty. He's heavy. He moves not slowly, but he's a bulky guy. He's got a big box where if an enemy hits him, he'll be damaged. The idea behind this game is not that you need to get from point A to point B. You need to get from point A to point B, and then back from point B to point A. So you come into each level from a portal, and you have to collect these 4 diamond pieces, and then get to the frog statue. You activate the frog statue, then a timer starts counting down that says, hey, you better get out of here, and you gotta run back to the portal that you came in from. So each level is designed to be played through forward and backward, and it has the same strength as Donkey Kong Country 2, where each individual level has its own kind of gimmick going on that makes each level feel fresh, and you have to work around each obstacle, each gimmick for that level, like the domino row. You have to beat the falling dominoes before they get there, or the big board where you have to press the button and it's like a roulette wheel, or there's just like 40 below fridge. You're in a fridge and it's icy and you gotta slip and slide, or the pinball zone where you gotta throw the pinballs into the gates and open the doors. And every level is unique, and the way that Wario controls is just so supreme. And I'm just a mere player. I'm not some huge critical video game analysis guy right now. If I were doing a more in-depth video on each of these games, yeah, I might go into more detail about why this game is good. But if you want a detailed explanation from somebody who's not me, there's actually a book that's been published about how fucking good this game is. Written by this guy. I can't remember his name right now, forgive me. But, wow. Wow! I mean, how many games have that, right? And don't even get me started, right? Don't even get me started on the normal mode, the hard mode, and the very hard mode. The pinnacle of this game, just when it absolutely shines the most, is when you're playing on very hard mode. See, you can't just beat a level. You have to beat the level collecting all 4 of the diamond pieces. If you don't, then you can't get to the boss at the end of the passage, at the end of the world, as it were. So, you have to collect all these diamond pieces. And in the very hard mode, they're hidden in such genius spots. Okay, the normal mode, you're gonna find them pretty much with no problem. In the hard mode, there might be a couple that you're like, oh, where is that thing? But in the very hard mode, I guarantee you, there's probably only 1 or 2 levels where you won't have an issue finding them all. And it's like, it's so good, dude. It's so good. The bosses in this game, everyone is super unique. I'd say the least unique one is probably the cat ghost. But a cat ghost is still pretty, it's still pretty unique, right? The cuckoo clock, super creative. The giant teddy bear, super creative. The big Venus flytrap plant monster guy, super creative. And the last boss is like the ghost of the pyramid with the weird mask that's placed a curse or whatever. It's a good game, and everybody needs to play it. Everybody needs to play Wario Land 4. It's the best 2D platformer of all time. Oh man, dude, I just can't even explain my love for these top 3 games. They're so good and so close to my heart that I need people to play them. And I put this video out, and really, most of this video is just me saying, yeah, it's good, trust me, it's just good. And that's just really how it is. You know, I can play through these games again and come with a more articulated video, maybe like a 20-minute long video just explaining why each of these individual games are good. But this is more of a list, and I just kind of want to give you the general idea of what to expect going into these games. I don't want to ramble too long. Anyway, I'm rambling right now explaining why I'm not rambling. If you like the video, you know, gotta put this in there. So, you know, gotta squeeze in that. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe if you like the video. You know, it's just like standard YouTube practice, right? And if you want to talk to me, people like me who have similar interests, you can come join the Discord channel. You can support me on Patreon if you want to. I don't have any patron rewards for anybody because I really can't think of anything for this format of channel that I have right here. If you want to give me money, that'd be cool. If you want to come talk to us in Discord, that would also be cool. Any way you can show me your support is very much liked and enjoyed. Coming up next, I might do a 3D platformer video because Ape Escape 3 needs some love. But I don't know if I've actually played that many 3D platformers in my life to get more than like the top 3. So that's why this video is so short, top 5, because I can't really think of 10 platformers that I really feel really strongly about. So thanks for watching. See you guys next time.